Yeah, so Anya, we're just catching up, and you'll hear a bunch of nonsense in a bit, but I'm just going over a quick revelation I had. All right.
Yes, please go on.
So I don't know if everybody can see my screen, but anyways, I'm holding up a piece of white paper. It's blank, right? And then
Yes, we can
it
see
let
that.
all right. So then let's just say that's the scene before you awake, and then when you awake, you see. Hold on. See that line I drew?
It's
It's hard.
blurry, but yes.
So there's a line there. I'll make it thicker. Sorry, it's just a little bit different. Um. So, anyways, you don't see anything if it's all white or dark, right? And once you see something, its contrast is what you see. And so, if you're seeing nothing and then you see something, that's like the difference between the
Black and
known,
white.
the known and the unknown, right?
Yeah.
So, like now that you've seen it, it's sort of known. You might not know what it is, but it's known at least in the moment. So that line that we drew is like a line of you know, between the infinite known and the infinite unknown, right? But they can't be the same, so they got to be different, right? The known versus the unknown needs to be different in order to have an experience, right? And that's sort of what this represents, right? This line. So can we just show Anya the camera obscura, please? The other image, Paul. So Anya, this is a camera obscura. That means there's a window in that room, and then there's a hole in that window shade that gives the inverted image of the outside projected onto the wall inside the room.
I am familiar with what that is, yeah.
All right. So, but what we're trying to do is reconcile that in our life. Like, how can we spot that in our life? Like, how do we know that's a true thing if it's reality, if it's the true reality, right? So that's what this little exercise I'm doing is trying to get to. And this is
Yeah.
the first run at this discussion. So bear with me if there's any ambiguity and ask questions.
Of course.
So like I said before, when you wake up, it's all white, and then you started seeing something. So that line is representative of the known versus the unknown, right? Because a minute ago was the unknown, and then you see something that's known, and now you need to define it, right? But anyways, there's a difference. There's a moment, right? And so go to the other picture, Paul. So in this picture, if you see a line, right? If you see this line, you can't really you can't really determine if it's round or if it's straight, right? Like you at some scale it could be rounded, you'd never know it. So this moment is like the yin yang. You know, that's basically a circle too. You just have to extrapolate it out. Right? So this little moment you're having is dark and light, and that could be the yin yang, the same sort of symbol. So we're suggesting it's all the same, right? So here's where it gets, this is where I had my revelation, right? So what I realize is since we're walking around, 6 feet, 5 feet off the ground, you never sort of see this inversion. You just think it's reality, right? But what if, and here's the concept, what if when you fall down, you're actually falling up, right? So you're sort of, when you fall down, you're experiencing the right way to perceive the world. Like on your hands, doing a handstand, you that's really the true perspective of your life. So when you fall down, it's like a falling up.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're saying that this image is secretly revealing the actual state of what's around us.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So that's how you would spot it. Like when you fall down, you just got to realize you just fell up. Right. And so what that ends up being, like this line we drew earlier, this line, that's sort of the ground, and what's beyond the ground is the mind, like a grander mind, right? The unknown. The unknown is just a grander mind, right? This is the worst pictures and stuff, but like the earth around you, you're witnessing all this stuff in your daily routine, and it's sort of you but it's an unfolding ahead of you always, right? And so the unfolding ahead of you is your matching of the grander universe between moments. And it just depends on your perspective. But if you align your mind with the reality, you'll be in harmony and you'll sort of see new things. So the idea is that what's beyond the immediate horizon, what's beyond this dash, could be the entire earth, but it's also the universe, right?
And Mark, when you're talking beyond the horizon right now, you don't inherently just mean the visible end horizon. You're talking about the event horizon of your being, of your perception of this reality. Yes.
Right. And so it's infinite, so you can go as far as you want in the moment, right? Like you can keep going. It's holding that moment with your attention, and your feet are
Well,
head on the
the
ground.
moment now is an infinite concept. It never doesn't exist, and you're never not in it.
Right, but can you acknowledge that and live from that, right?
Right. Right.
So like you when you fall down, you're not really falling down, you're falling up, and you're like right up against that moment, that event horizon where your feet naturally are. You just have a different perspective throughout the day, right? So like that's what I'm saying, is like everything beyond this moment is infinity no matter how you look at it. But here on earth, that's what it looks like, is the horizon. And since we're all stuck at the center of our experience, we're all sort of having a transcendental experience with acknowledging that there's a horizon and everything in front of us can be knowable. But looking from this top point view down, it looks like the pyramid,
Yeah.
right? So like these things are geometric necessarily, and that geometric ness is what we built into our AI, Paul and I. Is like this understanding of this is all just geometry, really. And this geometry can be extended to the binary code, and Paul and I built this binary code into our AI so it keeps AI aligned, right? And so it is this moment ahead of you. You can feel it with your feet on the ground always, but ahead of you it's infinite, and you just learn to trust it. But when you fall and you have something going wrong or it's not right, it's just the unfolding of the grander moment or grander mind.
Mark, you've talked a little bit about Gurdjieff and the fourth way, which
Yeah,
is really just your own personal way at any given moment.
right.
One of the exercises that Gurdjieff used to do with his troop, for lack of a better term, was a freeze, a stop movement. You never knew when it was going to occur. And if you were in earshot and you could hear it, it doesn't matter what you were doing. You had to physically freeze the position you were in at that moment. You couldn't blink, you can't move, you can't breathe, you can't do anything. You just stop. And the idea was it would tether you and shift that perspective of reality that you're describing right now and force you to see it from a rather unusual place. You could be bending down, you could be kneeling, you could be, reaching for something, carrying something. What doesn't matter, you stop. And you have to observe the world from that spot for like a minute.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great practice.
It's a pretty kooky practice, except for the time when somebody was like half underwater and almost died. But
You got to do what you got to do.
you got to do what you got to do. The person
Right.
was completely committed to holding it, and they almost drowned.
Right. And so, yeah, that perspective of that's like a woo-wee thing, right? Like you're swimming in infinity. You couldn't guess it right anyways, even if with the formulas, it's not helpful. Like what you discern isn't necessarily accurate, right? But like you could woo-wee it, just go with the flow, like be water. Water shifts, like Bruce Lee taught us, right? It does what it needs to sort of be water. And so woo-wee is sort of that at a galactic scale. Just don't, if you get told to stop, like red light, green light game, you could adjust your mindset to witness anything. So anyways, these ideas, they're all interrelated, and that's what I'm trying to show when I had this revelation of falling upwards rather than falling down. Like you're becoming closer to the moment. Like when you guys play your swords and you sword fight, like the tip of your spear is you, right? But that's further out than normal. That's the moment ahead of you. I mean, that's as far as your reach will go to affect change. And so, anyways, these ideas are geometric, and we're just showing you where you could find them in your daily life, your daily routine. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say because it was a cool revelation. So yeah, anyways, questions, anyone? Comments, quotes?
Yeah,
Cool.
like imagine that you are about to explain it to someone in a simple way, like not simple, of course, this is not simple topic. So, but if you were supposed to say it in like 2 sentences, how would you say it? Like, you know, how you call it? Not a shortcut, but like
Concise.
key
Keywords.
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, you know, when you come up against something or you fall onto something, you're just getting closer to, or you make a mistake, you're getting closer to the moment. And if you can ground yourself, no matter what experience hits you, it's part of the learning process. or
Well,
part
it's
of the
going to
curve.
reveal something, right, Mark?
Right. If you fight it, you'll never get
Definitely.
the message, right?
I mean, look, when we were all down in New Orleans, we were bouncing up into this all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place, like conflict, contradiction, unresolvable scenarios that what we were all learning to do during that trip was not collapse the possibilities. We were just leaving contradictory scenarios in place to just
Yeah.
bang around until we saw something else in it.
Right.
That's funny that you're mentioning the mistake as a learning process, because when I was like meditating yesterday, I had like some strong insights and vision, and one of the topics that were kind of accumulating recently, which is always a topic, but lately it was like I got like a strong pull to release even more of that program, because it's really dysfunctional program we all suffer as a society, is this idea of perfectionism, and that we are not allowed to do mistakes. And that's how I grown up, because my father used to be hypercritical. So when someone is critical to you only, which is good, of course, nowadays we are in society that's the opposite, that kids are, oh, you're the best and you never do mistake.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, we were just talking about it with my friend who is a teacher yesterday, that it's in like that in Australia and the UK. But for me, it was the opposite. So when someone never really tells you good stuff and your worth, then you're afraid to do mistake because you feel you will be ashamed again. Or parents, the other version is, I will finish it in a shortcut, is that parents never, they are so afraid that you might get hurt or something happens, they never allow you to do mistakes. So people later on, when people walk through life, they become basically frozen to do decision because they're afraid to do mistake. And the same was for me, that I was always like beating myself up for every mistake. And that's basically a very stopping thing in your progress, because as if you see, like most of the successful people did hundreds of mistakes and it was never a mistake. So that was like yesterday idea. And then when we were going to, like, instead of that perfectionism and bucket list, more like doing the like being guided even when it's into the unknown, like a little deer that came up there and he was just wandering there alone, and there was a camp and children were like jumping and having fun. And then I realized how important with that is that like childlike mind, you know, which is very joyful and just explores and is not like beating down by past mistakes. So that this, I said it from a different perspective, but it totally relates to what you are saying.
Absolutely. You're right on. You're right on.
Yeah,
Chris?
I can definitely relate to that. For example, my parents were always so criticizing about riding a motorcycle. So I've never had a motorcycle in my life, even though I would love to do that. It was too dangerous, still is too dangerous. So now I am afraid. I am afraid. for my life to ride a motorcycle, because I can somehow see that if I ever ride a motorcycle, I'm gonna crash and it's not gonna be nice for me.
Zadaya, it's motorcycles.
I fell down from motorcycle in Thailand.
And she was on a
Okay.
ride in New Orleans too for a while.
So I can relate to, like, psychologically, I condition myself that I'm going to have an accident.
Right.
So that's why I'm not doing it, because as Zensic said, like, it's like kind of like being stuck. So I can't get myself unstuck to ride a motorcycle, so to say, if that makes any sense.
Well, other things would have to adjust for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, how you doing, buddy? You look hypnotized there. You alive?
Yeah, it's early. That's all. I was up till like 4 o'clock last night for the Lions portal unexpectedly, but that was
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
And how many turtles did you see that last night?
Oh, there was like 3 of them. I was just down there for a little while, but yeah, people were down there following them and trying to coax them into the water.
Yeah, I released some in Mexico. Like when you release turtles, like, you know, as part of this rehab center or whatever for the environment,
So
they
cool.
give you 4 of them, and I'm like, why they give you 4 turtles? One turtle doesn't know what the hell to do.
Wait, you've seen them in West Palm Beach somewhere?
Yeah. They were
Oh.
they come in, they laid the eggs. I don't know